For decades, we've treated snoring as a bit of a joke. It's the punchline of sitcoms or the reason a spouse might move to the guest room. But I want to tell you something today that might be uncomfortable to hear, yet it is absolutely critical for your survival. Snoring isn't a funny sound. It is the sound of a human being fighting for their life. It is the sound of suffocation. Welcome to Dr. Levitas. If you or someone you love struggles with sleep apnea, you aren't just sleeping poorly. You are choking hundreds of times every single night. And while you're unconscious, your brain is undergoing a series of silent, microscopic catastrophes. Microstrokes. Today, we're going to peel back the curtain on the sleep apnea microstroke, why your morning headache is a siren for your survival, and how we can use sustainable, biological shifts to finally let your brain breathe. It's time to save your brain. Please take a second to like the video and leave a comment. Engagement is a huge help to the channel. Let's start with the most chilling reality of this condition. What is a lacunar infarct, and why do you not feel them happening as you sleep? When we hear the word stroke, we think of a major medical emergency, slurred speech, paralysis, a trip to the ER. But a lacunar infarct is different. These are tiny, silent microstrokes that occur deep in the brain's white matter. They are caused by the blockage or bursting of the very smallest blood vessels. A landmark 2024 study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association confirmed that people with untreated obstructive sleep apnea have a significantly higher density of these infarcts. The reason you don't feel them is that they occur in areas of the brain that don't control immediate sensation or movement. Instead, they hit the areas responsible for your processing speed, your mood, and your memory. It's like a termite infestation in the foundation of a house. You don't notice one termite, but over years of nightly choking, your brain begins to lose its structural integrity. You aren't losing your mind, you are losing your wiring, one microscopic bleed at a time. This neurological damage isn't random, it is driven by a state of metabolic panic. How does sleep apnea drop your blood oxygen below 90%? And why does this force the brain into survival mode? In a healthy body, your oxygen saturation should stay between 95% and 100%. When you stop breathing during an apnea event, often for 30, 60, or even 90 seconds, your oxygen levels plummet. I've seen patients drop into the 80s, even the 70s. For context, if you walked into an ER with 82% oxygen, you'd be put on a ventilator immediately. When the brain senses this drop, it perceives it as a lethal threat. It doesn't know you're just snoring, it thinks you are being strangled. A 2023 clinical review in Frontiers in Neurology detailed how this chronic intermittent hypoxia triggers a massive release of inflammatory chemicals. Your blood literally becomes toxic with stress hormones. The brain is forced to shut down non-essential functions to keep the heart beating. This isn't restorative sleep, it's a nightly stay in an intensive care unit that your body is desperately trying to manage. To counteract this lack of oxygen, the brain pulls the only lever it has left. Why does your body respond by spiking your blood pressure to 200 or higher while you are supposed to be resting? When oxygen is low, the brain sends an emergency signal to the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight center. It commands the heart to pump harder and the blood vessels to constrict, trying to force whatever oxygen is left in the blood up to the skull. In a healthy person, blood pressure dips by 10 to 20% during sleep. But in an apnea patient, we see non-dipping. Your blood pressure can skyrocket to levels that would be considered a hypertensive crisis if you were awake. Imagine your heart running a marathon while you are lying perfectly still. A 2025 longitudinal study found that this midnight squeeze is the primary driver of heart failure and permanent arterial damage. Your heart is screaming for help, and the snore is the only voice it has. This violent pressure has to go somewhere, and the most vulnerable destination is the brain's delicate circuitry. How does this pressure cause tiny capillaries in your white matter to burst? The white matter of your brain is like the fiber optic cables that connect different cities. These cables are fed by microvessels so thin that red blood cells have to move through them in a single file. These vessels are not designed to handle a blood pressure of 200. Under the nightly assault of sleep apnea, these vessels eventually give way. They leak or burst, causing what researchers call white matter hyperintensities. On an MRI, these look like little bright spots, or as some neurologists call it, the Swiss cheese effect. Every time you have a microstroke, a small piece of your cognitive processing is silenced. This is why untreated apnea is now recognized as one of the leading modifiable risk factors for early-onset dementia and Alzheimer's. You aren't just forgetful because you're tired. Your cables are being physically damaged by the pressure. The brain is incredibly resilient, and it tries to warn you every single morning. Why is waking up feeling unrefreshed or with a dull headache the number one warning sign of this damage? A morning headache in an apnea sufferer is a very specific biological signal. When you don't breathe properly, you don't just lose oxygen, you also fail to off-gas carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a powerful vasodilator. It makes blood vessels in the brain swell up to try and get more blood flow. This swelling is what causes that characteristic pressure headache in the morning. But the bigger sign is feeling unrefreshed despite being in bed for 8 hours. This happens because your brain never reached deep sleep or REM sleep. Every time you choked, your brain had to jolt you into a lighter stage of sleep to make you breathe. You've been awake in the background all night. This chronic exhaustion isn't just a lack of caffeine. It's a symptom of a nervous system that has spent the night in a battle for survival. We need to understand why this is happening, to move toward a solution. What is the mechanical link between a thick neck, mouth breathing, and the act of choking? Apnea is often a geometry problem. If you have a thicker neck, which can be due to muscle or fat tissue, it places more external pressure on the airway. But it's also about the internal geometry. When we breathe through our mouths, the jaw naturally drops back and down. This pushes the base of the tongue directly into the throat. Imagine a soft, collapsible straw. If you put a heavy weight on it and then suck the air out from the bottom, the straw collapses. This is exactly what's happening in your throat. This mechanical block is what creates the vibration of the snore and the silence of the apnea. It's not a lack of willpower. It's a failure of your anatomical stents to stay open under the weight of gravity and poor posture. Now, let's talk about a sustainable, simple shift that is revolutionizing how we look at sleep. How does mouth taping train your jaw to stay shut and act as a biological stent for your airway? It sounds strange, even viral, but there is profound physiology here. Your nose is designed for breathing, your mouth is designed for eating. When you breathe through your nose, your tongue is naturally forced to the roof of your mouth. When the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, it acts as a biological stent, pulling the tissue at the back of the throat forward and keeping the airway open. Mouth taping, using a small, skin-safe piece of tape, isn't about suffocating you. It's about nudging your body to use its natural airway. By keeping the mouth shut, you ensure the tongue stays out of the throat. A 2024 pilot study showed that in mild to moderate apnea cases, switching to nasal breathing significantly reduced the number of nightly microstrokes. You are essentially training your jaw to stay in a position of safety rather than a position of collapse. Here's the doctor's verdict: stop the nightly suffocation. If you've spent years feeling like a bad sleeper or being told your snoring is just an annoyance, I want you to know that your struggle is real, but it is not your destiny. Your brain is an incredible, self-healing miracle, but it needs one thing above all else to function: oxygen. Treating sleep apnea isn't just about getting more energy. It is about protecting the very essence of who you are, your memory, your mood, and your future. Whether it's through a CPAP machine, mouth taping, or structural shifts, the goal is the same: stop the nightly suffocation. Give your heart a break. Give your brain the oxygen it has been begging for. You have the power to stop the microstrokes and wake up to a life that is truly vibrant. I want to hear from you. Do you wake up with that morning headache? Have you tried mouth taping? Let's start the conversation in the comments below. Stay sharp, stay resilient, and I'll see you in the next one. Watch this video suggestion, it was especially picked for you. Please share, comment, like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Thank you, it helps a ton with the algorithm. Remain tuned for future videos and keep growing.